The following program is made possible with the support of
BB&T, best bank in town since 1872. Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza. Cookout, hamburgers, hot dogs, and great milkshakes. ESPN 630 AM, Wilmington's all sports station. And Sunny 104.5, Wilmington's best mix while you work.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Sports Roundtable. Well, the season is winding down to one more week of the regular season. Still a lot of meaningful football to be played, and before we look ahead, let's look back to an exciting Friday evening at a couple of our locations, and let's start over at Ashley. It was senior night, Laney and Ashley, and Tom, I know a little disappointment as far as the score was concerned, but it was one of those nights that's kind of the reason why you coach high school football.
It definitely was. I could not have asked anything more from my young men. It was very emotional for the game with a group of seniors that have sort of had to, fight for everything we've gotten in the 3 years I've been there with the Frankie Kellers and Jesse Jules and some of those kids, and they have just they've really tried hard. And so it was very emotional for the game. They came out and they played Laney as hard as you could ask anybody to do. Laney's a very fine football team, but I was very impressed with the character our young men showed to do that when we have a very slim chance of making the playoffs. But for them to do that, I was very impressed with those young men.
I know you had a couple of individuals pop into the lineup that haven't been there for a while.
We did. We had a number of injuries we've had all year. Charles Dent came back, though. That was the blessing of the night, is to have Charles come back out there and see him get a chance to play. He got to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I was going to say, he got in the end zone.
Yes,
too.
And he didn't have a ton of yards, but his being out there, that picked us up. Shane Shepard came out of retirement, for us, and he came and played, and he'd gotten his practices in during the bye week, and we just kept it sort of under wraps, and he did a good job for us. But then on the defensive side, Alex Highsmith got hurt, and so we lost him. And so, Andre Stukes was hurt, so Jock Pollock stepped up. D.C. Russell, a 6'5" wide receiver, had to play some at free safety. Lance Frith. We had a number of young men that stepped up. We had a freshman that played quite a few at snaps at defensive tackle, and Jeremiah Johnson. So he's going to get more looks. So I was, real pleased with a lot of things Friday night.
Okay, let's take a look at some highlights if we can. An exciting day. It was senior night down at Ashley.
Well, this is us. We played early. We played some really good defense. I think we wore down with some guys missing. Anthony Andrews came in at quarterback, and we really worked on pass pro last week with Shane being out there, but they did a good job of protecting, and Ant made a couple really big runs in the first half, and the way he stepped up at quarterback was very good for us, and Jesse had a pretty good night there at B-back, and our offensive line played pretty doggone well, so I was very pleased with offensively our effort. And that's Shane Shepard right there hitting Charles. Charles made a really good catch, and he hit him a little bit later on in our 2-minute drill to get us down in scoring position. And that's Jesse taking it in for the first one. And having Kujawski back kicking a little bit, that helped us. He didn't get that one in the end zone, but he had a couple that he did. That was Stephon Russell there getting in on the tackle. And Ant still in at quarterback. And we were able to run a little bit more of our load package with him in there, which gets letting him use that big frame or big body that he's got to run the football. And Chris, we run more of the true triple. That young man at quarterback is a load, and we were lucky there. Jake Wade made the strip, and Jesse picked it up, but we really had trouble stopping him a couple times. But their big running back 24 is a very good running back, and that's Charles's touchdown. Not quite as much speed as he had. Of course, if I had 2 broken ankles the last 12 months, I wouldn't run very fast either. But he did he did very well for the situation. I think he'll be better this week. So that's some of our defensive plays that we made good there. And that's Jesse carrying the football. And that's Ant at A-back, Anthony Andrews. Shane was a quarterback, and we hit him on the counter play for a touchdown.
So even a lot of your guys that are there all the time were in totally different positions.
Right, Mike Rowland there, we had to play him in
Yep.
free safety. He's been an outside backer because, there again with the injury situation. And Ant handed it to Jesse, and, we were able to move the football well. Never as much as you want to, but, the kids played very well, and it's that type of effort we had all night. They just wanted to be there and do what they had to do to try and win, and we just lost to a better football team that night. There's Ant again on a little duck play, as we call it, where he ducks to the backside. And Jesse again. I was real impressed too as this game wore down when Laney came down and scored with 2 minutes and change, how the kids didn't give up and they drove down and scored within 2 minutes themselves. So it was a lot of heart out there. That was one of the few times we were able to bottle him up. But in 24, like I said, he's a load. We had trouble stopping him most of the night. Got a fumble there. Field position hurt us some in the second half there. This is Shepard in. I had his brother and then him. They both can, like I told the receivers, you keep running, you can't outrun a Shepard arm. And Shane, here we just want to run a sprint out where he had that option of run or pass. And at 225, he made some people pay for it. And then we sort of caught them off guard. I think they thought we were going to pass, and Jesse took it in, and now we have a chance to tie the ball game. And that's where we missed the extra point or had it blocked, and Laney won the ball game.
Have an opportunity as you go into the final week of the season, still a lot to play for.
I think so. I mean, even if it's just a slim chance we might get a wild card or whatever you want to call it, and we're with 10 other teams, as long as you have a chance, we'll take that. And for us to do that, Ashley, for this group of seniors to have a chance to go out on that note, I hope we get an opportunity to. What happens in the first round happened in the first round, but I think it's a great step if our kids could do that for themselves.
Take that next step with
Yes, sir.
Because they've really done, as you mentioned, they've helped kind of build you to be in position for future success.
Right, and we're 3 points from being 6-3 going into the last game, and I know you can say what ifs, but I think for what we've overcome, for our size and what we've done, I think these kids have done a tremendous job, and I'm very proud of them.
Ashley, West Brunswick, this coming Friday night, it's the final week of the regular season. When we come back, we'll go over and take a look at New Hanover. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. We mentioned it was homecoming for a number of schools. That includes the Wildcats over at New Hanover. And Coach, I know when you see these kids come through the program and progress, that's always a special night.
I hate senior night. We call it the Day of the Dead, and kind of crazy that it was the Day of the Dead, and our Latin and Spanish teachers did a Day of Dead at school on Friday. But it's hard to see those kids. You see them in the weight room every day. You watch them grow up and mature, and I don't know if your players, you don't know if they get everything from you, but you know exactly what you get from them, I guess, and we didn't word that well, but I love my kids, and I get so much from each one of them. And hopefully I had an impact on their lives, because they sure had an impact on mine.
We're going to go to the highlights. Senior night, and you were looking for this team to come out, and they did.
Amen. West Brunswick was very disappointing in our effort, and they did not have a lot of fun at Monday and at practice. And between that and senior night and homecoming and all that good stuff, we did a lot of stunting and blitzing, which we have been, but we really hadn't used it a whole lot. And we did a lot of that early to really work on, depending on who we get in the playoffs, putting pressure. I felt like we played about as physical as we've played all year long, and that's the thing that we need to do. And we tried to get all the seniors a touchdown, and I think we got them all but one, and that's his fault. And he should have run when he was supposed to run, and that way he would have scored, but instead the sophomore got it. We pulled up the JV, and his mother would be real happy about that, and she's got my number. Orange uniforms day after Halloween.
Yeah, how come you didn't wear orange?
I don't look good in any color, but no, with our color combinations, all that stuff, and we let the seniors map out the whole season when they want to do what. And I tell you what, our offensive line did as good a job Friday night on the screen game, and we really put a lot of emphasis on that. I felt like we'd gotten lazy and sloppy in our screen game and getting upfield, and we got better. Nikema Walker, had him back. We were missing him against West Brunswick, and he's a difference maker. It's funny, you hear all this stuff. John Hardy, that's the guy running around with a big 500-pound white thing on his arm. He has a cast, and he'll be able to play the remainder of the year, and we'll see what happens after that, and he's got to learn to play with that. We did a good job, like I said, we did a ton of stunting, a ton of blitzing, which we normally don't do, and in a game like this we normally wouldn't have done, but we really felt like we're going to see a team that in the playoffs that we're going to need to do that, and what better time to do it than on Friday night under the lights. Defense shut them out. We had one turnover they picked up and ran back, but defensively I felt like we played extremely well. We were very physical, point of attack, and we swarmed to the ball. And offensively, I think our offensive line, really moved extremely well all night long. Malachi Mosley, junior running back, just continues to get better and better and better. We tried to let a ton of guys get a ton of touches. Ward Coleman only played the first half, and once we went up, we wanted to get Burke in, our JV quarterback. He played the whole second half, and I think he had 120 yards passing there, predominantly in the fourth quarter. Even though the Star News apparently was tweeting everybody we were running it up, and I feel sorry, and I will apologize on air for the guy from the Star News that interviewed me, but he wasn't the guy that tweeted that. But we were crystal clear. Right here, we ran the ball at will. We didn't feel like they could stop us running the football, and that's kind of why we threw it a little bit more in the second half than we normally would. But
very physical on the edge.
Yes, we were flying around with some pretty evil intentions. Our kids were really laying the wood, and right here you see the offensive line really getting upfield. We've got some kids that can run, and that makes us look smart, and he should have just went on and get out of bounds.
The fact that you were able to play so many underclassmen, the benefit not only for next year, but for the next couple of weeks.
That was probably the dumbest thing we've done all year long. That's Trayvon Holiday. He's a wide receiver. It's the first time he's ran the ball all year long. We was trying to get him a touchdown, and then he has a run like that. And of course, it's a conspiracy that we hadn't been playing him at running back. But Trayvon, we call him Bo. Great kid. He's had a great career for us as a wide receiver, and just a tremendous athlete. Got to coach his brother and got his little brother playing with us now. So great family and a great group of kids.
Good throw, great catch.
I mean, he put it on the rope, and here, all this still the first half, and Ward right there putting it on the money, and Rome laying out and catching it. And Rome just gets better and better and better. I hope somebody really takes a chance on him. He's 232 pounds now, and gets better and better and better. This is Burt, sophomore quarterback, and we got to play a ton of guys, and got a lot of guys reps.
Okay, now you've got to put it together back-to-back weeks.
Bottom line, I've been saying it all year long, with this team, and every team's different. And our entire season, we just had to get better as the year went on, and we've got the pieces to the puzzles to have something really special. And I felt like we've kind of roller coastered at times, and right now we're peaking, and now's the time you have to peak. And I was very disappointed. I thought we played extremely well against Laney, especially on third down conversions, and then we go to West Brunswick, and other than running off the bus with a fire, we didn't show up to play. And then Friday night, I felt like all three phases of the game, we were clicking. We've got to carry that into Hampstead on Friday so that we get that momentum. Also, so we can get some other guys reps just like we did Friday night, so we got some depth in the playoffs.
I was about to say depth and health.
Amen.
Two big parts of the postseason.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's the final regular season game for New Hanover on the road at Topsail. We'll have highlights for you next week, and of course we'll also be able to give you some matchups as far as postseason play as well. We'll continue on, so stay with us. And we continue on. Let's swing over to Hoggard, who had to wait until Monday night for your senior night. And I know you would hope to be able to get out early, and you did.
Yeah, we did. I was very pleased with the guys. You never know, coming off a weekend. We had a little walkthrough Saturday morning real early, missing a couple guys with the SAT going on. And then not seeing them on Sunday. You never know what's going on there. And then just being Monday and not quite the usual routine. But I thought the guys really came focused and dialed in. We had film of West Brunswick playing New Hanover pretty tough. I think it's 28-23 or something like that, with New Hanover making an interception there late. And I think that got our players' attention. And so even though West Brunswick maybe didn't have a winning record, I think our guys respected them and their ability to play us tough. And so we came out and really we were as sharp as we've been offensively all year long. Just executed really well, very efficient, very productive. Defensively played well. And just pleased with the whole effort. Happy for our seniors, senior parent night. Had a nice, cool, clear night to play on, and football weather, and just a good group of people there to celebrate. A lot of great accomplishments.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights then, if we can. It's Monday night football over at Hoggard, and right from the word go, you guys got.
Yeah, here's the opening series. That's actually second play. We get a little kind of unbalanced set. And Austin Schonleber is going to take it in for the touchdown, 40, 50 yards out. Here we are, next possession, going to come out. Austin's going to sprint out. Good protection by the guys up front. Hit a little kind of out route, wheel type of route there for a first down. Come back, and we're going to throw kind of a seam route there to Eric Leifheit, who makes a great catch there. A little better cover than we anticipated, but he made a great catch. And from there, I believe we're going to come back and throw a little out route to Randall Emerson, who's going to catch it and step into the end zone for the touchdown. So again, I think at this point we've only run about 7 plays and we're up 14 points. Or we had 2 touchdowns. We actually struggled with extra points. Defensively up front, those guys have continued to play well. Tyler Beeson, Devin Bond, Malik Moore, all there. Julius Reynolds, that front, those front guys have played really well for us. You can see him penetrating up. There's Julius and a whole swarm of guys. Ty Berry, linebacker, did a good job. Here we come back. This is Trevor Brown. Takes a little inside zone type of play with a fold block and is going to able to run into the end zone there. I think Trevor finished about 130 yards rushing, so real happy with him. Again, we missed a couple extra points, so at this point we decided to go for 2, hit Luke Ward. So I think it's 20-0 at this point, if I'm not mistaken. Kickoff team, Landon Mays and John Morton doing the kickoff duties. And there's a big hit there. I couldn't tell if that was Julius Reynolds. I believe Julius was in on it, just don't know if he was the primary guy. But again, the D front, you can see not a whole lot of movement. The white shirts are kind of getting knocked back there by the blue shirts. Good penetration. Kyle Delaney very quick off the edge. Creating a fumble and a sack. We are able to get the ball back, and we throw a little seam route again. That's Harrison Smith for a touchdown. I think Harrison scored 2 touchdowns on the night. That's one of his in passing. Again, kickoff team coming down. Good job getting down there. That's inside the 20. Actually, I took out the official there. Sorry about that, Mr. Lemon. And defensively here, front. Devin Bond, again, on a great play there, kind of seeing the little zone scheme. Had a good little scheme, I thought. We played it really well, but difficult scheme, just kind of reading the end and sweep. There's Robert Pickford coming up, making a tackle on the give. Again, great coverage downfield, sets up this sack. Julius Reynolds, the Mike linebacker, ends up getting it. Kind of zoomed in here a little bit. Sorry about that close up. There's Trevor Brown, again, kind of busting through. Here again, Trevor takes it in, kind of a little ISO deal, bounces outside. The first hole's kind of clogged, but bounces outside and gets a good gain down inside the 20. And then we're going to give it to Trevor off tackle, and he's able to go in to the end zone. I think this is more first half action here on defense. Again, kind of a little tight on the screen there. We're working on it, our filmer. But we see a sack there from Kyle Delaney. I think Kyle might have had 3 or 4 sacks. So here's another one during the course of the night. Kyle just very quick off the ball and did a great job. Here we are on offense again. We're kind of faking a little jet sweep. And Xavier Johnson's going to take it down for good yardage. This is like a 2nd and 9 here maybe. We had a holding penalty. We're going to fake the jet sweep. It hit Trevor Brown on a little wheel route. And Trevor's able to go down and score. I believe he scores for a touchdown. And that kind of ends the highlights. All that's first half action. The second half we kind of throttled it down a little bit and got to play some JV guys at 8 quarters and let them get some experience.
That's important that you can give some of these guys some time, because come postseason, one injury or one penalty can really just change the whole dynamic.
We've tried to develop some depth and through the 8 quarter process, maybe bring some young guys up, get them some experience that hopefully, if not this year in the postseason, then definitely next year when they're working out during the summer, they've got a little bit of idea about varsity football.
Okay, so you go to South Brunswick this coming
Friday
night,
Friday.
Short week. If you take care of business, you're able to complete a lot of your short-term goals as far as seeding, conference, and everything.
Just happy for our football players, particularly our seniors. Their freshman year, we really struggled. It's the only losing season in my 17 years at Hoggard. And to see the way they've left the program in better shape is a credit to them and their hard work. And hopefully we can have a good week of practice, have a good game Friday night, win the conference championship, and maybe get a number 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs, and maybe get a favorable bracket and just see if we can make a run.
Okay. South Brunswick hosting Hoggard. It's this coming Friday night, 7:30 kickoff. When we come back, we'll swing over to Laney. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Our final segment is over with Laney and Greg Dietz alongside. And we already saw the highlights of the Ashley-Laney game from the Ashley sideline. It was just as physical from your sideline.
Yeah, it was. Javon Batson, our offensive line, had a great game running the football, and Tyreek, around the outside. Now, Meek actually early on, busting some big runs for us, but Javon had over 250 yards running the football, and Tyreek didn't have a great game throwing the ball. Honestly, he set out most of the week with some back pains, and it was quite evident that we couldn't throw the football in that game, so we ended up grinding it out. And Ashley did a great job. They did a great job with their game plan, and executed very well offensively. And it's a tough way for them to lose, but we're just excited that our boys never quit the whole time, and they hung in there.
And bottom line, you closed the season with the victory going into the bye week. That's a great way to close the regular season, knowing the postseason's 2 weeks out.
It is. It was a great way to finish. It was our most exciting game, of the year. We had some closer games, but nothing really came down to the last play. And this year, this was the final game for us, regular season-wise. Came down to the last play, really excited. And our kids, just have that boost of energy, going into this bye week.
Okay, take a look at the highlights if we can. Again, Laney and Ashley, and we are underway.
Yeah, this is just kind of showing Javon running through people, doing a great job of lowering his shoulder, getting the extra yards, and basically ran like 2 run plays the whole night. This is our option, our little speed option that we like to run. We weren't blocking it properly there, but still ended up getting 15, 20 yards by Amik, and kind of stayed away from that play just because we weren't blocking it right. But Tyreek doing a good job of running inside the tackles here, and he was banged up, so it was impressive for him just to be on the field at times and just running him on the counter. Javon was tearing him up, so anytime coming off to Javon, it really helps Tyreek out there, and he's doing a much better job of running inside than he did last year. And defense at times played really well, really well. I know they were frustrated at some of the points they give up, but the triples, it's hard to defend at times, and we ended up having both our linebackers ended up playing 2 different kids at the end of the game for linebacking, or for our linebacking core. And this Tyreek just kind of being an athlete, just doing a good job of getting down the field, keeping his shoulder square, and looking for the cutback. And this is our freshman, doing a great job. So I thought he probably should get tackled in the backfield, broke through there, and just something special coming for Laney there with the freshman Amik. And defense won to the football, doing a great job of getting to the football, and they did a good job of it all game. We just sometimes put ourselves in some bad situations and actually executed pretty well. Sam Frank, though, coming up with another pick, definitely put him up for one of our all-conference votes. He's just doing a great job of being back there at the safety spot, and just tremendous kids for his size and his ability. And Javon running well for a big boy, even in the open field there. We got to make fun of him a little bit because he got in the open field, kind of ran out of some steam, but he takes it well. And this is Amik again in the backfield, our freshman, breaking the tackle, getting to the outside, and that's pretty good freshman speed right there. So we're excited about him. And then here's the last play of the game. Ashley just scored, going in to kick the extra point. He called timeout. I thought maybe he might go for two, and then John Coots just busts through there with a big stop. And you know, it's just an exciting way to win a football game. I know a tough way to lose a football game for Coach Eden's over there, but it was good for us, and I think it put us in the right frame of mind here going into the bye season.
The block PAT is just, you know, it just reinforces the little things
Yeah.
that come August you begin with, and it pays off at the end.
Yeah, it did pay off, and you know, not quitting on every play. And we showed them the Hanover game where they weren't even rushing for extra points, and we were very frustrated with that. We felt like you were giving up at that point, but obviously they didn't give up at that point and made a big block, and you know, we're excited for it.
Okay, you've talked about the progress of this team. Now that you hit the bye week before the playoffs, are you pleased with, now that the season is over, looking back, how you've been able to go from step one to step two to where you are?
Yeah, I am pleased. I think that there's a couple games that we're frustrated with. We could have played a little bit better, but we haven't put together a complete game. You know, overall, offensively we play well sometimes. Defensively, we've been playing great all season, but we haven't been able to complement each other just yet. You know, where offense would go down and score, and defense would get a stop, and maybe offense could score again. I don't think we've done that really all season long, where we complement offense and defense and special teams all together. So there's definitely still some things out there that we can get better at, and we're going to work on those this week. And you know, as long as we play well, I feel like we have a great chance in the playoffs to get a couple victories here and just kind of see where it goes from there.
I was about to say, you're in a unique position because you get the bye week at the very end, so you're finished now watching everybody.
Yeah.
You get a chance to heal, but at the same time, I know you break up the rhythm a little bit,
Yeah.
and you always wonder how you're going to play coming out of a bye week, and now all of a sudden you're playing a first-round playoff game off a bye.
Right. We won't know until you know we strap it up again next Friday night and see what happens there. But we really need to get healthy. There's some guys, you know, that probably wouldn't be playing on Friday if we had to play this Friday. So we're excited to get our legs underneath them, and just as long as the kids got their minds right during this bye week, I think it can be productive.
You mentioned it in the tape a couple times. You talked about a couple of freshmen that are playing. The fact that we've talked with everybody about it, the fact that you've been able to go deep into your bench, that has to help you when you hit the postseason.
It does. Amik's doing a great job of us playing running back for us, and just 8-quartering a lot of kids and getting them on the field, and it just helps them. If not on next Friday night, it'll help them in the future and next year when we come around, because you know they won't have that shock of the Friday night lights. And so we're excited about the amount of kids that we've gotten to play, both JV and varsity wise. So we look for big things to come there.
Okay, sit back, enjoy the off week.
Will do.
When we join you next week, we'll not only take a look at the final week of the regular season for 3 of our area schools, but we'll preview the postseason. Maybe all 4 schools are there. We'll see you next time right here on Sports Roundtable.